Okay, well, Patty, we do have a quorum, and our chair, Miley, will not be here today. So our first vice chair, Patty Bangor, will be running today's meeting. So.
Okay, thanks everybody. Do I need to call roll, Jessica, or?
Nope, if you'll just officially say called to order and.
What, Patty Bangor, I call to the meeting to order at 3 p.m. on March 30th. And our first agenda item, we have established a quorum. Then we have our consent items next with the agenda, minutes, and a board financial report. Does anybody have any questions or would anyone like to make a motion?
A motion to accept the agenda, Ed Dills.
And Ash, I seconded.
Thank you, Ed and Ann. All in favor, say aye.
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 Was
Any
that to accept
opposed?
the agenda or the consent items on a whole?
I can revise mine to say on a whole.
Ann, are you good with that?
What did you say?
Are you okay with changing the motion to approve the consent items?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do we need to vote again or are we good?
We're good.
Okay. Are there any public comments?
We received no public comments in advance of the meeting. Is there anybody on Zoom? I don't see anyone. No public comments.
Okay, so we'll move on to information items. Up first is the legislative update by Jessica Mcwolan.
Good afternoon, CAC members. Jessica Mcwolan, your Policy and Communications Manager. So this is your regular monthly legislative session update. As you know, the Board of Directors has a legislative committee that meets weekly during the legislative session and reviews bills that are relating to the PPACG legislative themes. Those are available online and we've gone over them a few times, so everybody should know a little bit about them. Ann Esch has actually been listening in on those meetings because they are public meetings and so they're wonderful. Since this was sent out, we actually have not taken any additional positions. There have been several bills the committee has looked at, but has asked to hold their position until they've had a chance to review and get some more information. So are there any bills on this list that you have had questions about from the bill tracker I included, or any questions you'd like to ask about the legislative session and what's been going on?
Okay, seeing none, I think we'll go ahead and move on to the presentation on the family.
Hold on, it looks like Ed has his hand raised.
I'm sorry, Ed, I didn't see that.
I do. Jessica, if possible, since Ann's joining the meeting, could you send me the link for that also? And if I'm available, I'd like to as well.
Absolutely, I'll forward those on to you.
Okay, thank you.
It's really interesting. I'll tell you, and that's good. Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, up next is the presentation on the Family Caregiver Support Center by Kent Matthews.
And he's coming up to the podium as we speak.
Perfect.
Yep. Okay. Hi. Thank you for giving me the time to just kind of give you a brief overview and understanding of the Family Caregiver Support Center. It's a unique program that we have here at the Area Agency on Aging. And the reason we have the program, just I want to paint a picture for you of real quickly of family caregiving as it exists today. Family caregiving being done today is not the same as family caregiving that was being done generations ago. It has changed. And the reason it has changed is because medicine has changed the aging process. Medicine is keeping us alive longer in greater states of debility is probably the easiest way to say that. And that means that family caregivers are having to spend a lot longer time in caring for a family member. The average length of time a family member is caring for another family member is about 6 years right now. If the family member has dementia, that number goes up to 12 years of care. And the other issue is that family caregivers report that as they continue to provide care for their family member, their physical and their emotional, their mental health declines. And on average, caregivers spend about 25 hours a week providing care. And most of the caregivers are still working, so they're trying to balance work and caring for a family member, which makes it a very, very difficult task. And the other thing is that elderly caregivers, people 60 and over, who are caring for a family member, they have a 63% higher mortality rate than elders not caring for a family member. So this can kill you, is the bottom line. The Family Caregiver Support Center exists because of the Older Americans Act. When it was modified back in the year 2000, it was modified to say that area agencies on aging had to provide services to support family caregivers and their caregiving, and that we also had to provide as an area agency respite care. So what we do here, which makes us unique across the state of Colorado, is we have a Family Caregiver Support Center. Sounds wonderful, but it's basically my office. And I have one staff member that helps me. And what our main task is to provide consultations to family caregivers. Those consultations are done at no charge. We can hold as many consultations as the family member wants. Basically, what we cover in the consultation is the puzzle of caregiving. What does that mean? What it means is I've identified over the years 5 basic large pieces to the puzzle of caregiving. It's medical, financial, legal, care, and emotional support. So medical, we often talk about things that they often don't hear, and that is, how do you deal with memory decline? How do you deal with dementia? How do you deal with forgetfulness? We help them with that. We also talk about palliative care. We also talk about hospice care. Those are 2 things that if you rely on your medical doctor to bring them up, you're going to get them later rather than sooner. The legal aspect, we talk about things like powers of attorney and also guardianship and conservatorship. And we talk about oftentimes, and I had 2 consultations this morning, one over the phone, one via Zoom. Both were about an hour and a half. So I spent 3 hours with 2 different families in a consultation. And both of them, the biggest problem was their family member had dementia and they had no powers of attorney. And the family member was not safe. And we assume in our society that if you're not safe, you can step in and do something. No, you cannot. The only way you can step in and do something when a person is not safe is if you have the legal authority to do that, which is through powers of attorney or guardianship or conservatorship. So I can spend another hour on that, but I'm not. So after legal, the other is financial. How do you pay for the care? We've set up a social service system that's based off of capitalism, which means the more money you have, the more service you can pay for. In this area, as in with most areas across the country, when you need services for long-term care, like family caregivers do, you pay for that either out of the person you're taking care of, you pay for that out of their resources, or if they have long-term care insurance or Medicaid long-term care. In general, whether it's straight Medicare, Medicare supplement, Medicare Advantage plan, Medicare is not going to help pay for care in the home on a long-term basis, week after week, month after month, year after year. nor is it going to pay for room and board on a month-to-month, year-after-year basis. So we talk about that and how to put all that together. And there's a huge misunderstandings and myths about Medicaid long-term care and what it can and cannot do and how to qualify. And I help caregivers demystify that and take away those myths and understand what the reality is. And so the financial is often connected to the care. We need care in the home. How we're going to pay for that? How are we going to get it? We use our resource, and I can't believe I walked in here without a copy of it. We produced the Yellow Book, which is a wonderful resource of all of the resources for seniors and their caregivers in the 3-county area that we serve, which is El Paso, Teller, and Park County. So I use the Yellow Book to help caregivers begin to figure out where they need to go and how to ask for and get those services. And then the other is the emotional support. We provide a support group called Caring Conversations. We do that once a quarter. It's 7 weeks when we do it. I'm also aware of other support groups for caregivers in the community that I provide that information to caregivers to get them connected to it. We work very closely with the UCCS Aging Center. They provide individual counseling for family caregivers at no charge. First 6 sessions are at no charge. If they need more than that, they negotiate with UCCS on the cost for more sessions. That's a wonderful resource that we use as well. I do in the community, I used to kid and tell people I'm the kind of person that when I open up the refrigerator and the light goes on, I do 10 minutes. I love doing presentations about caregiving and explaining to people why this is so difficult and why it's so confusing and why it's so complex, because I've been doing this for 30 years. And so I can do presentations in the community on anything about caregiving. So if you want a presentation, I think Jessica or somehow we'll figure out how to get my information so you can have a conversation with me about doing a presentation. We also have respite vouchers, and the vouchers are to give the caregiver a short break from the caregiving. The 2 qualifications for a voucher are age and how much help the family member needs with the 6 activities of daily living. Qualification has nothing to do with finances. And so caregivers can get those respite vouchers for the short break about once every 2 or 3 months. It's a wonderful program. It's been in existence for 10 years now, and it's provided a lot of relief for family caregivers. And then the other thing that we do once a year is the Caregiver Pampering Day. This year will be the 19th year. We even held it last year during COVID because we adapted and figured out how to do it. And it's where we pamper up to 100 caregivers, and everything to them is absolutely free. We provide them a free breakfast. We provide them a free lunch. And then between 9:30 and 12:30 on the morning of the event, we do nothing but pamper them for that 3 to 4 hour period. And the thing that caregivers tell me the most after every pampering day, many times they have tears in their eyes and they say, thank you. I can't tell you what this meant to me, but sometimes they will say, I loved it because this was the first time I didn't have to explain myself to anybody, because everybody there was a caregiver and everybody knows what caregiving for a family member is like. And so for them, it's huge to be able to spend time with 99 other caregivers and feel the warmth and feel the support and feel the understanding. And if Jessica, can you or somebody put down how to, so if you, to attend, it has to be, if you know of anybody that fits this description, it's a family member, and a family member is basically anybody, whether it's an uncle, an aunt, an adult child, a grandchild, a niece, a nephew, whatever, and they're caring for another family member who's 60 and older, they can attend the event. And to attend, they need to register. And to register, all they need to go is to our website, which is ppacg.org/pampering day. Click on that link. And then there's a place where they can enter their name, address, phone number, and email address, and they're registered. And this is open to any caregiver in our community who lives in El Paso County. Again, they have to be unpaid, family member kind of a thing, and their family member they're caring for has to be 60 years of age or older. Okay, that's the family caregiver program in a nutshell. I could go on for the next 3 hours if you wanted me to, but I know I can't do that. So do you all have any questions of me?
How can we get you out
And I can't remember who the new executive director is. She's wonderful. And the Park County Senior Coalition is our counterpart up there. So
the secretary of the senior coalition?
perfect. Okay.
Switch hats here.
Right. So work with her. By the way, I like your t-shirt. I just noticed, or your sweatshirt. But yeah, work with the Park County Senior Coalition and work with that.
Starting plan monthly get-togethers, lunch or something like be a good food.
Those of us that are
Sure.
online, we can't hear the questions. Could you turn your microphone on?
Sir, so he's trying to figure out how to get me up into Park County.
Right, yeah.
Now,
So
so
we have this thing.
here's what I would be happy to do, but check with your executive director because I don't want to step on toes. I'd be willing to come up and just talk about caregiving in general, why it's so difficult, what the challenges are, and do that.
I say we'd like to schedule you for one of our luncheons we have. We had one last week, but got snowed out.
Yeah. So yeah, but talk with her and then she'll know how to get a hold of me. So any other questions?
Ed, you've got your hand up. Go ahead.
Yes, is it possible to get a hard copy or a brief review of what you just stated that I could share with community members out in Calhan-Rama area?
Yes. I can send you, it would be in a PowerPoint with different slides, but it would have some of those same, it would have that basic explanation in there. So I could do that.
Okay.
And I'm going to rely on either one of Jess or Jessica to give me your contact information, and then I'll
Okay,
send
that's
that
fine.
to you. And then I'd be willing to come out to halfway to Kansas. And I say that with love because I was born and raised in Topeka, Kansas. So anyway, I'd be happy to come out and do something similar like I would for Park County. So that.
Okay,
I'd be happy to
great.
do
Thank
that.
you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Could you guys just forward that actually to the entire committee? I think I'd be interested
Definitely.
in seeing that as well.
Okay, so I think what I will do when I get back to my office is I will drop you an email, Jessica, and then you can send that out to everybody. Okay, sounds good.
Tanisa, you had your hand up earlier. Do you have a question?
No, I meant to ask for the same copy as well. So I lowered it.
Thank you.
Okay,
Well,
And-
Mr. Matthews, thank you for your time and for leading this important and impactful program in our area.
you're welcome. Thank you. And in honor of the Final Four, Rock Chalk Jayhawk.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get ready to move on to the action items. Item number A is 2021-2022 Specialized Transportation Funding Recommendations. Laura Cruz, the Mobility Coordinator.
Well, and you made me catch a typo. It should be 2022 and 2023. So Hi, I'm Laura Cruz, and thanks for having me today. Just to kind of give you guys a little bit of background, and feel free to stop me at any time and ask any questions. Last year, I came to this group as a new person to PPACG. I am the mobility coordinator and mostly was hired from the get-go to take over a funding program for specialized transportation in this area. So what we're going to talk about today is the 5310 program. This is a funding source through FTA, the Federal Transit Administration, and it's for the enhanced mobility of seniors and individuals with disabilities. And PPACG back in January 2021 became the designated recipient of these funds. So we're a direct recipient of 5310 funds from the Federal Transit Administration. And this program was originally under Mountain Metro Transit and has transitioned over to PPACG over the past couple of years. And so it is our time of the year where we have launched our NOFA, so Notice of Funding Availability, and then gone through a initial selection process of the agencies that we are proposing to fund with the 5310 funding. And so just to get you guys sort of a geographic understanding of 5310. 5310 funding can only be used within the Colorado Springs urbanized area. So that's essentially 2,700 square miles of El Paso County that money can be used within. So we're looking at a very narrow focus in terms of where we can put these funds, but that's sort of our boundaries. We also have a small amount of funding that we still receive from the city of Colorado Springs. It's PPRTA money that comes to the city of Colorado Springs to us for specialized transportation. And we utilize that funding as a supplement to the 5310 funding for the PPRTA areas. So that's a different geographic area. Those of you who are familiar with PPRTA, it's unincorporated El Paso County, Colorado Springs, Manitou Springs, Calhan, our newest member, Rama. Did I get them all? John, who am I missing?
Green Mountain Falls.
Green Mountain Falls, yes. And those funds can be used within the PPRTA boundaries. So today, I'm presenting to you, we have gone and worked through a technical review subcommittee of our regional advisory committee of the AAA. This subcommittee has met and has gone over the proposals from each agency, as well as met with staff to talk about sort of the ins and outs of how the program has gone this first year, to help kind of come together with some recommendations. And those recommendations we took to the TAC earlier this month. The TAC asked some questions, I answered those questions, and they are making the recommendation to the CAC for the CAC to recommend these funding recommendations to the board. And so I'm going to go through this pretty quickly, but feel free to stop me. So we essentially have $816,000 a year to dedicate towards this program. This program is separate from the Area Agency on Aging funds that can also be utilized for transportation. We are also in the process of allocating those funds in a separate meeting going on upstairs. So I'm playing between the floors right now. But with that 816,000, we actually had $976,528 requested of 3 agencies of us. So as the review committee, we had to kind of look at several different things. We actually use scoring criteria to evaluate the proposals of each of the agencies. Those criteria, I believe, are in your packet that we used for the evaluation. And so in scoring those agencies, but also having some staff input, we worked with the TRS committee to come up with these recommendations. And so the two highest scoring agencies were Envita and Silver Key Senior Services. Envita is an agency that has worked with the AAA for many years, same thing as Silver Key and same thing as Fountain Valley Senior Center. What we have done, though, is we've used those criteria to look at their individual applications, but also assess how it matches up with PPACG's mission, as well as matches up with the spirit and intent of 5310 funding. And so Envita scored slightly higher than Silver Key Senior Services because they serve both seniors and individuals with disabilities. They were our one agency out of the three that targets both those groups. And that's really the spirit of 5310 funding, is that it is available for those that are seniors and individuals that are 60 and below that have disabilities. So that's why, Envita kind of jumped ahead of the rest of the group because of that small caveat. And you can see Silver Key is just right behind them. Silver Key provides a huge service to this community in terms of serving seniors. And so they have great financial management capacity. They really have proven their ability to manage federal funds, which is very important considering this funding is straight from the feds. And so that's why they scored so high, is just their ability to really manage this program and implement it within a very vulnerable population. And then our Fountain Valley Senior Center is kind of a unique occurrence for this year. So the TRS committee recommended that this year we didn't fund Fountain Valley Senior Center with 5310 funding. And the reasoning for that is it's a lot to take on this program. It is a very highly challenging financially management challenged program to take on. And so we wanted to really work with Fountain Valley this year with their AAA funded programs to really start building their capacity to take on federal programs to this magnitude. And so because of that, that is why they scored low, really from a financial management perspective. They didn't have all the tools in the toolbox that they needed. And so we're working with them through other funding means to get that for them this year. So while it is kind of a step back from funding Fountain Valley, with these dollars, we're really trying to step up with our AAA dollars to help them be successful. So these are our funding recommendations for this year. And I am open to any questions that you may have beyond what I have actually just explained, but just let me know if there's any questions further.
Hey, this is Gary Sugar. Has Fountain Valley ever gotten any 5310 funds in the past?
They're actually receiving it right now. So this past year was our first year of granting funds. So it was kind of a test for everybody, test for PPACG. It's been a roller coaster for the whole group taking on this federal program. Previously, their program with the city was actually funded by city funds. So it wasn't federal dollars. But when the 5310 program transitioned over us, it took the place of those city funds and put it in federal flavor, which comes with a lot of different strings tied to it. Yeah. Great question. So as I mentioned before, we're actually upstairs talking about the proposals for the Older Americans Act funds that the AAA actually distributes. And we're taking these into account, all three funding sources, and trying to make for sure that we have the right funding source with the right agency that has the right capacity. So our goal is not to ding anybody. Obviously, we have finite resources that we're trying to distribute, but it's really just making for sure we have the right flavor of sources, right flavor of funding sources with the right agency and what they provide. So as we're making AAA decisions, we're taking these decisions into account. And so our goal is to make for sure that we don't impede services in any way moving forward. All right. So I'm asking for a recommendation from the CAC today to bring to the Board of Directors. And the recommendation is to approve these recommendations that were given to you by the CAC. And what the next steps are is we will present these to the Board of Directors, and the Board of Directors will actually open this up for a 30-day public comment period and then make a final vote on the funding decision in May. So, yes. Any other questions?
Are there any motions to recommend the approval?
This is Carol Campbell. I'll move to approve that.
Terry Hayes will second.
This motion has been made by Carol and seconded by Terry Hayes. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
And our next item is the Cac Nominating Committee. Jessica, do you want to go over that?
I do. I'll be pretty brief. We currently do have one citizen at large vacancy. So we do need to confirm or select a nominating committee to review applications for that. I'll be promoting and advertising for that pretty much as soon as we have established this nominating committee, and that committee will be asked to interview applicants and bring a suggestion proposed to the CAC at our May meeting for confirmation at the board meeting in June. Their term will be June 1st, 22 through May 31st, 25. The current subcommittee that we established in November, who focused on the executive committee, was Ms. Shelley Roars, Mr. Roy Rosenthal, and Ms. Tanisa Sultana. And the CAC is being asked to either confirm this committee or to consider alternate members. So is anybody else interested in serving on a nominating committee to review those CAC that citizen at large seat? Anybody currently on it? Do you want to not be on it? What do you guys think?
Shelley, Roy, Tanisa, are you all willing to serve again?
Yes, this is Tanisa. I will be okay.
I'm certainly willing.
Don't think Shelley's on with us today. But
Do we know if she's willing to serve again?
we don't have confirmation from her. Do we want to say, maybe see if there's someone who's willing to be the alternate if she's not? Oh, hold on. There's Shelley right now in our waiting room. Perfect timing.
Julie? The question Monique asked about the banners.
Okay, Shelley, are you there with us now?
I'm here, yes, ma'am.
We just indeed, we're going over the nominating committee, and we were just asking if you were willing to be on the citizen at large nominating committee this round, or if you would like to pass and have someone else fill that seat.
I'm sorry, the nominating committee that I've been on?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to say yes, but know that, remember, we're transitioning someone else from the league, but I will let them know that as being on the nominating committee, I think that's something that, is that something we can transition to automatically, or do you have to be nominated from this group to be on that team?
It's from this group. It's a specific person on this group who wants to review the citizen at large applications.
Oh, okay. And, oh, yeah, then yes, I'm fine with that. Yes, ma'am.
Well, then we'll need a motion from the group to either to approve the nominating committee.
Sharon Brown, I move that we approve the nominating committee.
Second, Ed Dills.
Motion made by Sharon Brown and seconded by Ed Dills to approve the existing CAC members to continue serving as the nominating committee. All those in favor of this motion, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries unanimously. The next item we have on the agenda is a member discussion. Do any members want to share information?
I do actually. So I just wanted to let everyone know that May 2nd through the 8th is Air Quality Awareness Week. So you'll be hearing this a little bit about this at the CAC meeting next month. But if you know groups who might be interested in engaging on raising awareness about air quality, including the very first day of it is wildfire and smoke and its impact to air quality. There's a lot strongly relating to us in our region. That's it.
Anybody else want to share anything? Okay, seeing nothing, we'll move on. Items for the next CAC meeting. Do we have any requests for items to be placed on the agenda for the next CAC meeting? Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and move to the PPACG meeting and event schedule. That is the last page of our packet. So our meeting next month for this group will be April 27th at 3 p.m. Is there anything else we should know about, Jessica?
The 4-part Medicare series that we do to really dig in on Medicare for anybody who might need that begins April 7th. And the retirement series is adding a 5th class this year and starts April 11th. So if you're interested in information on planning to retire, being retired, or information on Medicare, those are 2 programs that are really, really interesting and people should take a look at.
Okay, well, unless I've missed anything, I think that's the rest of our meeting. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
This is Donna Wood. I'll motion to adjourn.
Sharon Brown will second.
Motion made by Donna and seconded by Sharon Brown. All those in favor to adjourn, say aye.
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 I assume nobody's in opposed.
Probably not.
Okay, well, thanks for making my first meeting leading this committee easy on me. I appreciate that for everyone. Thank you. And I look forward to seeing everyone next month.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you all.
you.
Have a
Yeah.
good week, month,
You too.
time period.
Bye.
Mhm.